got a question the other day, a question on a YouTube video, and I answered it on the video, but I thought it was a good subject for its own video. And when the guy asked me, the person, the hobbyist, the painter, the fellow Warhammer enthusiast, asked, "Do you pin your models into the bases?" And I thought that was a good question because it's a valid thing, and I think a classic. Like if you're old school, I think maybe you used to do that. And so pinning, though, basically pinning, if you don't know, is putting a little rod, usually a cut up paper clip, in the foot of your models and drilling a hole in the base, and so you have your model is like pinned in there by the little rod. And so this is kind of I think an older technique, because a lot of the painters in the old days, before we had things like handles like this, the most common technique was you drill a hole in the foot and then you put your mini on top of a drill. So you just hold a drill instead of the thing, and then your mini's on top of there. So that allows you to do what we did with the Nurglings and switch the bases there at the end there. And that's kind of a good idea. And then, yes, do you do it? Now, I don't do it, or I rarely, if ever, do it. And the only reason is it is very time consuming. Like doing that is a very long process, and unless you're like really a barbarian, you're most likely not gonna damage your minis. Like I think there's more of a chance to damage your minis by drilling in a completed base than in like playing with it and like maybe re-gluing it once every like 5 years or whatever. And I say this like as a guy that like is very, very rough with my mini. Like when I play, my models really go to war. Okay. And I don't pin them. But the other reason is, unlike these ones, the glue that I use, I always use super glue like cyanoacrylate glue. But the thicker is kind of better for this endeavor. So this one here, the one that we just used for the Nurglings, this is like super liquid. Like this is water, basically. Like the consistency is like water. This is not great for bases because the surface between the foot and the base is going to be very thin. So what you want is more gel-like, so that the foot or the bottom of the mini and the base, there's like a lot of the glue in there, so it fills all of the nooks and crannies in the base to the foot, and that gives you a stronger hold. Whereas if you just use this or any other like cyanoacrylate that's like almost water, the hold's going to be much less, just because the glue does not reach like in between like all the little particles of sand or all the texture. So that's maybe one thing that I would try, is like sometimes I just switch the glue from this one to the other thicker kind, which is again same type of glue, it's just the consistency that's different, and just that gives me enough hold where I don't have to worry about like my miniatures falling. But again, pinning is kind of a decent option if you paint all your miniatures pinned already. Like if you paint all your minis with like a little pin in the foot, and that's like your go-to technique, then it probably makes sense to pin them because you're going to do it anyway. Whereas I use the little handle thingy, butt plug, the official Citadel butt plug over there, and I'm quite happy with it, so I don't bother drilling. And so I think this is a kind of quick video, but I think it answers the question really, and it gives good little solutions to it. So hopefully you enjoyed this.